Thank you for joining us for TAP Talk episode 17, where we explore the vital role of the Department of Labor in supporting soldiers during their transition to the civilian sector. In this episode, we highlight key resources and programs that assist soldiers as they navigate their new career paths. Let's welcome Tim Winter, who directs the Transition Assistance Program and Veterans Employment and Training Services at the Department of Labor, along with our National Director, Walter Hurd.
Hey, listen, good afternoon to everybody. Welcome to the Army's TAP Talk number 17. I can't believe it's been going on that long. It gets better and better every month, and this month is going to be even better. We've got about 10,000 viewers out there in the world that plug into the Army's podcast about transition assistance, and they've got a treat today. Now, before I introduce my guest, you all know that every year, about 100,000 soldiers or so transition off of active duty. This is important business. So important, in fact, that Congress has dictated some of these transition assistant efforts. And transition assistance is really what we call an interagency effort, meaning we've got Department of Defense and all the services involved, and our partners from Department of Labor, Veterans Affairs, Small Business, and Education. So we're really lucky to have a good friend of mine here today, Tim Winters, who runs the Department of Labor's Transition Assistant effort. No surprise to you listening that most soldiers are looking for work when they transition. That's natural, whether you're a young soldier or an old soldier or somewhere in the middle. Almost all of us look for employment after we transition off of active duty. So our big partner is Department of Labor. And I'm happy to say, Tim, you're a friend of mine, have been for years and years as we've worked on this TAP effort. Tell us real quickly, so what does the Department of Labor do with TAP?
Sure. Thanks, Walter. And again, I appreciate the opportunity to get a chance to talk with you and with your audience. I do have very much appreciated your friendship and your just working with you over these many years within the TAP space. So Department of Labor, for the Transition Assistance Program, we are to get statutory, Title 10, Section 1144 directs the Secretary of Labor to establish and maintain essentially a career transition employment program for transitioning service members and their spouses, and to do it in conjunction with the Department of Defense, the VA, and so on. And so when we talk about the Department of Defense, obviously we're talking about all the services as well. For historically, and so TAP, as you know, has been around for 30 plus years now. And historically, Labor's portion of that has been to provide employment workshops. And those have run the gamut over the years of 1 day, 2 days, 1.5 days, 3 days, and so on and so forth. With the 2019 NDAA, that became a little bit more prescriptive on what should be in the program. And so for Labor, we've got our mandatory 1 day employment fundamentals of career transition. And then we also have 2 of the 2-day tracks. One is our 2-day employment workshop, and then our vocational track, which is the career and credential exploration workshop that we do. So that's been, and it still is the bulk of what we do for the Transition Assistance Program. Now there's other things that obviously I think we can get into here as well. So.
Yeah, and I want to talk about some of those, but first let me just kind of repeat what you said. So about 100,000 soldiers a year get off of active duty. About a third of those, more or less, are reserve component. Almost all of them are going home to the same job. So every year, about 55,000-ish do one of the Department of Labor workshops that you just mentioned. So that sounds about right. We've got some soldiers that are going straight to school, to college. Some soldiers have already got a job, so they're kind of good to go. And then the vast majority, myself, when I retired 100 years ago, the vast majority go to one of these Department of Labor workshops. That makes sense. So the Department of Labor, the federal government's labor expertise, manages the workforce numbers. They don't manage workforce employees, obviously, but careers in different areas, physically in different disciplines. And then with that 1 day track, just kind of give me the long and short, Tim. What do we learn in that 1 day DOL workshop that most of the soldiers take?
So the title of it is Employment Fundamentals of Career Transition, and that's really what the purpose of it is. It really is a fundamentals course, and I think anyone who's listening, anyone who's been through TAP or been through some type of career transition, it's virtually impossible to learn everything you need to know about your career transition in 1 day. So what we really want to try to do with that course is to lay as solid a foundation on what an individual needs to do as they make this career transition. So introducing them to career search, introducing them to labor market information, and all those different things that help to establish that a good employment search as they go forward. And then once they've gone through that, then of course they can make the decision: do I if I'm really looking for employment, I'm going to take the 2-day employment workshop, which goes into that, gets more down into the nuts and bolts of the actual career transition. Or if they want to do a little bit more career exploration, they can take the career and credential exploration workshop, which I think honestly, if I'd pitch them to take them all if they can, and definitely, I think the C2E workshop, the career and credential exploration, really gives them an opportunity to kind of take a more deliberate approach to find out what it is they want to do, what type of occupations or career paths may fit that, and then develop a good action plan on how to get there. But any of those workshops, are valuable in and of themselves.
Yeah, let me just put in a little unpaid political advertisement here. It almost doesn't matter what a soldier's long-term or short-term plans are. I would recommend that they maximize these workshops, at least the 1 day and ideally the 2 day as well. Even if they have a job or if they're going to school or if they run their own company, it doesn't matter, because you learn so much about the workforce, just the workforce, which is the country really. You learn how to write resumes, which means you learn what to look for when you're reviewing somebody else's resumes.
Mm-hmm.
As a soldier, I'd never even seen a resume until I was, way past 40, about to retire. So this is really beneficial. And you hear me say a lot that TAP is like physical training, and that you've got to start it early and you've got to do little bits constantly. And you know what? If you do 5 or 10 more push-ups every day, that's all good. It's not going to hurt you. It's just going to help you. And same thing with going to a workshop like this. Even if you're not sure what you want to do, and maybe you want to go to school or have this other job, just go. I guarantee it'll be better. It'll be good for you. There's no doubt. Now, so Tim, you certainly know this, but for the audience, we take TAP. We start TAP about a year out, no later than a year out. We start off with an initial assessment, and then we come up with an individual transition plan. Your plan is different from my plan, different from the next guy's plan, because we have different goals and all that stuff. As part of that plan, we determine which transition assistance things we need to go to benefit. And there's a choice of 4 different 2-day tracks. There's lots of choices, but one of those options are a couple of 2-day tracks. And you mentioned one of them, I think, is a technical credentialing exploration thing. Now, you clearly, in 2 days, you're not going to learn how to be a certified mechanic or electrician, but that 2-day track, tell us a little bit about that. Incidentally, the other tracks include the education track, the entrepreneurial track, and then the traditional employment, meaning working for another company, track, and then this 2-day vocational technical credentialing. What is that?
Sure. So that again, that's our career and credential exploration. C2E is what for short. What we do with the participants in that is they start out. They'll take 3 different assessments. They'll do the ODAT interest profiler. They'll do the career scope assessment, and then they'll also do a values indicator as well. So what that'll do is it will take, you find out what you're interested in doing. It'll find out what you're what you're capable, what your abilities are, and that type of thing. And then also it'll find out what your employment values are. So what do you value in employment? Do you value a lot of family time? Do you value meaningful work? That type of thing. And what we do then is to take those 3 assessments and then look at career possibilities or occupational areas that are within those areas, and kind of do the Venn diagram. And if you got a sweet spot where there's an occupation that hits every one of those assessments correctly for you, then that might be a career occupation that you really want to to do a little bit more investigation in. So what they'll do then is, once they've kind of identified 2 or 3 different occupations, then they'll lead them through some labor market research on those. What are they kind of up and coming? Are they sustainable? Are they kind of one of the hot job markets for those? Then they'll look at, okay, what do I need to do? What kind of credentials or licenses do I need in order to be in that occupation? And then we'll find out, okay, so I've identified the training that I need or the licensing that. How do I go about getting that? And and they'll look at ways to obtain that training, either through state workforce programs, through federal programs, and so on. And then with all that information, then they'll develop an actionable plan, to reach that goal, if that's what they choose to do. And again, I think it's a good opportunity for them to do a little bit more deliberate research and exploration in what they want to do when they get out. And so when I got out in '93, that I definitely could have used something like that, to find out what it is I wanted to do when I grew up. So I think that's if they're able to take that time, I would highly encourage them to do so.
Yeah, I tell you what, I hope you all were taking notes, because Tim just outlined a really good roadmap to how to get from where you are today to where you want to be in the future. He talked about the assessments, and there's several different types, and you all have got these 3, and that really kind of puts some rigor to help us find out where we are. I mean, we all inherently know what we like to do. Maybe I like to be outside. I like to work with my hands. I like to work conceptually on a chalkboard or whatever. But this allows us to really determine where our skill sets are and our passions are. And then I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Tim, but then it directly links those passions and skill sets with career opportunities. So if you like to do A, B, and C, well, here's 2 jobs that kind of line up with A, B, and C. Yeah. And then further, what you need to do to be licensed or certified in those jobs. So this is a great map, because we all think, gee, I'd really like to be a game warden back home. Okay, well, let's talk about how that works then. Let's talk about a roadmap, which really becomes then the transition plan for you personally, because it's different for all of us, right? To get from where you are to where you want to be. So that was a great, just off the cuff, not off the cuff. You do this all the time, so you can do it off the top of your head. But this roadmap with the assessments, and then define the jobs that are up and coming, and then identify licenses and certificates and training and that sort of thing. Boy, that's important stuff. Now, you hear me all the time. I say TAP is like PT. Also, you hear me say you got to go early and go often. Now, Tim, true or false? Is this something you could start on Monday and be squared away by Friday?
No.
Okay, good answer.
To put it bluntly, no. And I've always appreciated Walter, your the go early, go often. phrase for TAP because labor we've pushed and encouraged for as long as I've been with Department of Labor, the idea that the sooner you begin the transition process, the better it will be for you. And again, it not only does it allow you to get started early, but it allows you to go often, to take these workshops multiple times, or to really make use and access all the different resources that are available for that career transition.
Yeah, and there's a lot of resources out there, and
Mm-hmm.
there's more than you can't just absorb them all in a week or so. You got to spread it out over time. And these assessments you mentioned are a great example. You really want to think about it and think about, what is it that I like to do? It's not so much what I can do.
Right.
You can do lots of things, but what do you want to do? What'll make you get up in the morning excited every day? That's a good question. Now, we use the phrase in the Army, and I guess all the services, you enlist and you recruit the soldier, but you re-enlist and you maintain the family. And that's certainly true for those of us with families. My wife went through almost a dozen moves with me. My kids went through several. What do you all do from an employment perspective? I know what you do with the soldier. You just explained some of that. How about the spouse?
Sure. So we've, since TAP has been around, it's always included the spouses of the transitioning service members. So they've been eligible to attend our workshops and all those things. We've always historically had, I think, very low engagement with the spouse population. So a number of years ago, we decided we were going to maybe try a little different approach to providing the information to the spouses. And so we came up with what you see there is our Transition Employment Assistance for Military Spouses and Caregivers curriculum. And what we did is, in realizing that spouses probably aren't able to commit to a full day or multiple days, and obviously their schedules may be considerably different as well. What we've done is we've taken kind of modularized the TAP information and not just broke up the EFCT and into different chunks. What we did is we broke it up, but we really geared and developed the curriculum to address the employment needs of spouses and caregivers, and understanding what issues they may encounter in the employment space. And so we start out, we develop them. They're all, so we've got off the top of my head, we got at least I think 10 different workshops or modules that we have for that, and we are continuing to develop additional ones. What we've done, they're all 2-hour workshops, and it's all instructor led, so it's not self-paced or that type of thing. We start out doing the virtually instructor-led training, and so you can find that on our website, and you can register for workshops there, and we have them timed out so that spouses who are overseas can also take part in them at a time convenient for them. We also have, over the last couple of years, been conducting these in person as well at installations. So if installation is interested in providing or having us come and deliver these workshops, we are absolutely able to do that, and have been doing it now for a couple of years.
All right, let me interrupt to make sure I heard that right. So if you've got a husband and wife at Fort Bragg or anywhere, and they're about to transition off of active duty, and the spouse wants to, kind of speed up and improve her employment capability, then you've got these 2-hour seminars. Now, how does he or she find out about those? Are they on a web page somewhere?
Yeah, they're on our and I can certainly provide that. If you go to our the DoL.gov/agencies, and it's vets, but we do have the URLs for those. I wish I would have brought those to you. But yeah, if you go to that URL there, that'll have all of our, it'll have our core courses, it'll have the the teams stuff. It'll have the off-base transition training, the employment navigator partnership program. And so from there, they'll be able to actually go in and register for the virtual workshops from those sites. And then also, I believe we also have information on in-person workshops as well. But of course, that's at in particular installations doing that.
Yeah, that's a big moneymaker, and that's something I would encourage soldiers and their spouses to get involved, because both of you, soldier and spouse, whichever one is, husband, wife, or whatever, but in modern society, probably both of them are going to want a job. They're going to need a job, and they're going to want a job. They want to be productive. They want to, supply for their family and all those things. So that's important, and get involved. And you also said that, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, that if an installation has enough interest that you guys might go there and put on a special spouse class if they've got enough people. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. So let's do that. That'd be great. One of the things you mentioned a minute ago, Tim, was the Employment Navigator. Now, what is that? The Employment Navigator program, what does that mean?
So the Employment Navigator and Partnership Program, ENPP, I consider that really a kind of a paradigm shift in how DoL has approached the transition assistance program over the years. As I mentioned earlier, historically we've done the workshops, and we've also heard over the years that it's like drinking from a fire hose. The service members really could use some assistance outside of those workshops, with that information and so on. So back in 2019, when they passed the NDAA, and like I said, they became a little bit more prescriptive. We also took it as an opportunity to add in an additional resource within the program to really make TAP a more tailored experience for the transitioning service members. And so we kicked it off as a pilot back in April of 2021. And what it is we were at 13 installations at the time. And we have contracted employment navigators that are at the installation, and they work one-on-one with the transitioning service members and their spouses as well. And really basically they start out with helping them identify a good fit career path that they want to follow. And then we have partner organizations that we have entered into memorandums of understanding with, and then we can then connect them to those partner organizations, and who can then help them along that way. So, and by partner organizations, I mean organizations that do employment placement, that do apprenticeship opportunities, that do employment networking, mentorship, helping with resumes, any number of things there, as well as career fairs and so on. And we started out so we were at 13 installations to begin with. We are up to 46 now, and we started with 9 kind of test partners. We're up to 70 or more, 70 plus now at this point. So some of those that we've got Recruit Military, Hire Heroes USA, LinkedIn is one of the partners there. Helmets to Hard Hats. It's a wide range, and again, you can see that the whole list of partners there at the URL there. And again, the point really is to assist them outside of the workshops, to really work with them one-on-one, and to find out what it is they want to do, what opportunities are open for them, what they want to kind of pursue, and then get them connected to a partner who can help them along that way. Because I know, Walter, you've heard this over the years as well, is there is this the sea of goodwill out there who wanting to assist the transitioning service members. They've always it's difficult for the service member to navigate that. It's also difficult for those organizations to be able to get in front of the transitioning service members. So what ENPP has been able to do is, kind of, get those organizations, vet them, and enter into an agreement with them, so that we can, directly refer service members and spouses to them, and then they can get rolling and do what they do, and so it really kind of helps them to navigate that, hence the name, the Employment Navigators.
All right, so let me make sure I got this, because this sounds like a really good deal. So if you're Sergeant Jones out of Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and your spouse are getting off of active duty and they're going back home to, I don't know, we'll say Nashville, Tennessee, in that area, they can link up with one of these employment navigators, and you've got one at Bragg, and then they can help make those. The navigator will help review their transition plan based on their kind of assessment, what they like to do,
Mm-hmm.
and then can help them connect with people back in Nashville, either in the networking business or actually maybe the no-kidding training and certification business and employment business. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep. And I do want to point out, so it's, if they're at an installation that has an employment navigator, so at this point, we're really kind of installation bound. However, we are working on having a virtual approach to it as well. But right now, it's it's installation linked. So if they're at an installation that has an employment navigator, they meet with them one-on-one. They'll the employment navigators will work with them, as much or as little as the service member wants. And the thing is to kind of figure out what they want to do. What are some of their interests? They'll use those same assessments that we have in the C2E workshop, and use those in the same manner. Be able to help them, lead them through some good labor market research. Find out, if they once they pick kind of an occupation that they want to follow, find out, okay, where's the best employment picture for that that particular one? Is it where I want to go back to, back to hometown USA, or is there greater opportunities elsewhere in that? And help them make that decision. Then yes, once they've made that, then what they're able to do is kind of identify 2 or 3 or as many as they want, really, of the partners who can help them in that along that way. So if it's it has to do with apprenticeship, we've got a number of apprenticeship intermediaries that will get them connected into different of those kind of career or industry groupings for apprenticeships to help them with that. Of course, we've got, I think, some really good, solid, straight placement organizations that we work with, and we also have what we call communities with wraparound services. And so you've got places like in San Diego, and in Houston, and actually there's a number of them where they've in those particular communities have kind of formed organizations where they'll bring together all those different kind of wraparound services that they need, which could include housing, employment, obviously training, any number of things. And of course, we also get them connected into the American Job Center system, which again, that provides that local employment assistance and employment opportunities as well.
I got to tell you, I'm just going to make another unpaid advertisement here. If you're a transitioning soldier or spouse listening to this, or a leader of a soldier or spouse listening to this, and you don't take advantage of this employment navigator concept, you're missing the boat. This is a huge benefit that DoL has put together for our soldiers to really kind of hand walk them through this process. Mm-hmm. There are 3 questions that everybody needs to ask and prioritize. Where do I want to go? What do I want to do? And how much money do I need to make? One of those 3 questions is more important than the other 2. And these employment navigators can help you once you've honed it down to location, job, or salary. they can help you really zone in on that location or that career track, and really put you ahead. This is a great thing, Tim. I wish we'd had it back in the day, but I'm really happy you guys have got it up and running. The Army was super supportive, and I've heard no bad news stories. All I've heard out of this program is good. So for soldiers out there, check it out. Go to your TAP center, check it out. Go to this webpage right here and check it out. This is a good deal. One more question, Tim, then we're going to have to unplug. Of course, most of what you've been talking about is either done online or done in the TAP center, but you all have an off-base transition training concept. What is that, and what do they do?
Sure. So that was a law that was passed in January of 2021, and it directed the Department of Labor to provide the transition assistance program to veterans and spouses of veterans, and to do it at locations other than a military installation. So what we did is, again, looking at the curriculum that we had and basing it off of there, but also understanding that veterans out in the workforce and that they've got limited time in which to be able to commit to any kind of workshop. So we did kind of the same thing we did with the teams curriculum, is that we broke it up into different modules, and then we offer those instructor-led as well online. But we also go out to, right now we're in 14 states and the District of Columbia, where we have our contracted employment resource coordinators out there. And what they do is they develop relationships within a particular community to set up locations to provide these workshops. And then so once they've got those set up and scheduled, we bring in a facilitator to deliver these workshops. And again, they're all 2-hour workshops, except for the resume writing one, which is a 4-hour, just because it requires a little bit more hands-on, a little bit more in-person work to do those. So again, we've got those available online in instructor-led workshops, and then at locations in those 14 states and District of Columbia. Again, the purpose there it's not a replacement for TAP for active duty service members. We do have a number of active duty service members who take part in it. I think it could be a good thing for them to, if they want to, like, revisit or kind of redo stuff that they've done within the regular TAP program. That's maybe a little bit more focused on a particular subject. They can do that as well. Again, I want to foot stop. It's not gonna check the block for TAP, but it is a resource that is available there. And again, so on our website there, you can actually go on. You can see where all the different locations that we have workshops scheduled. You could register for the virtual workshops, or you can register for an actual in-person site as well. So, and that right now, it was started as a pilot. Right now, it's set to run through January of 2026. And so, if Congress sees fit to extend it or make it a program, then we'll continue from there. But again, it's taking that TAP information, from the workshops, gearing it towards veterans and veterans employment needs, because those are a little bit different from a transitioning service member. And then being able to kind of break it up into chunks, and so they can attend 1, 2, 3, 4, as many as they want, and just kind of help them if they're looking to maybe make a change in their employment, or if they get laid off or anything like that, be able to assist them with that. We also have the Small Business Administration. We link to them for their Boots to Business reboot, which is the Boots to Business that they run, at areas not on an installation. The VA has also developed a kind of a 1-hour virtual VA 101 benefits workshop that they conduct as well, and that's an instructor-led virtual workshop also. So we've the intent of Congress was to be able to provide as much of the broad TAP experience that is out there. So not just, DOL workshops, but, the small business administration, the VA, and so on. So that's what we've been able to develop at this point. And we've had, and what I really like about that program is because we're in these different, locations, and they're working with the local stakeholders. You get a lot of different, I think, really innovative approaches on how to get the word out, get the information and the training to the veterans and their spouses in those areas. And so, just some really tremendous work there at the local level, and which I always love to see that kind of stuff.
Well, I tell you what, audience, if you guys weren't taking notes today, shame on you. The good news is we recorded this, and you can watch it over and over again, because we've heard from the expert, the Department of Labor lead, and their job is real simple, Tim. If I can just kind of simplify, your job is to help veterans find the employment they're looking for.
Yep.
Might be local, might be far off, might be tomorrow, might be years from tomorrow, but that's your job. And you all have really come up with some great and innovative and original concepts, more so than just kind of the traditional 2 or 3 day class that happened when you and I got out of the service 100 years ago.
Yep.
So I want to say a couple of things, Tim, then I'll ask you for your any closing comments. But one, I appreciate your time here today. More importantly, the viewers are going to appreciate this as they watch it and they have questions. Hey, what was that spouse thing that guy talked about? Go back and watch this again, and they can look at it, or they'll go online and figure it out, and with your webpage, and that's beneficial. I consider myself personally fortunate to have gotten to work with you for the last decade and a half or so, and I know our country has been fortunate for a longer period of time to have you lifting the heavyweight down there in the Department of Labor, and before that in the United States Marine Corps. But we love you. Yeah. So thank you very much. I know you're going to retire just in the next few days. I'm going to ask you for your closing comments on today, but first I'll raise a toast out of an old Army canteen to an old soldier. God bless you. Appreciate your service. Thank you much. And Tim, your closing comments on today's podcast.
Certainly. Again, I just really appreciate the opportunity to come on and discuss these things that labor is doing, and especially with you, Walter. And I'd have to say, yeah, I've been doing this for a long time. I've been at labor for 18 and a half years, doing TAP the whole time. And every once in a while, I would look back and say, gosh, this is the longest I've ever been in a job, and I can't believe it. But then but honestly, I've never felt burnt out in this job because of what we do, and honestly, so I got out of the Marine Corps in '93, and I had a, probably as rough as anybody's, transition, school of hard knocks in making that career transition. And I've always felt that, anything that I can do to assist service members make a smooth transition, that's really kind of what I live for, and I've been so fortunate to be able to do that for this long. Yep, I'm retiring, but again, I think definitely it's in the program is in good hands, and I'm very excited to see where it goes in the future. The other thing that I've really enjoyed about the TAP space is that it has always been a very, I think, collegial group to work with. I always think TAP is probably the best example of an interagency collaboration that there is. Walter, working with you all, with all the services representatives and program directors have just been fantastic. And I couldn't ask for a better bunch to work with as we go forward. So again, I really appreciate the opportunity to pitch what it is we do at Labor. I think we again bring a lot of things to the table, and would encourage everyone to make the absolute best use of those resources, and because it's there for you, and and definitely will help you make that career transition.
A lot of good information out there today. I hope you all are paying attention. Watch this again Go to as many DoL workshops as you can, and every one of them will be beneficial, I guarantee you. Tim, you've had something like almost 2 million service members that you've helped. Good for you. God bless you, and thank you for coming today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in for today's episode on the vital role the Department of Labor has in supporting our soldiers. For those soldiers tuning in to today's episode and starting their next chapter in seeking civilian employment, we encourage you to visit your local TAP center early and often. Take advantages of the resources available and let the TAP counselors help you achieve your goals as you transition out of active duty. Thank you for your service.